And welcome back. Based on a brand new report that was just announced today, which is on April 23rd, sales of brand new single family houses increased. However, inventory absolutely surged, the highest level since February of 2008. I have a lot to share in today's video, and let's go ahead and begin. According to the National Association of Homebuilders, they say the following. Despite higher interest rates last month, new home sales rose in March due to limited inventory of existing houses. So overall, there's approximately 15 to 20% more houses for sale compared to 1 year ago, depending on the source. But we're still way below pre-COVID levels. However, the pace of new home sales will be under pressure in April as rates moved above 7% this month, which is expected to moderate sales and increase the uses of builder incentives in order to drive home sales. So for the month of March, which is this report I'm going over in today's video, the average 30-year fix was at 6.82%. That's an increase from February at 6.78%. So it's pretty crazy to see that they had, or home builders had more sales this March compared to February, even though rates increased just a little bit. However, as the National Association of Home Builders pointed out, in April, rates have been increasing. So far this month, the average 30-year fix is at 6.93%, which should limit sales of brand new houses in April. So in any case, let's have a look at the actual report that was just announced this morning on April 23rd. This report covers the entire month of March, and I'll share how the figures we're looking at in today's video regarding sales and inventory and also home prices, how that compares to years past, going back to the early 2000s. So in any case, this is from the US Census Bureau, which covers sales and houses for sale of brand new single-family houses, so excluding multifamily homes in today's video. And by the way, a friendly reminder, a new home sale is really acting more like a pending home sale, a measure of contracts being signed between buyers and home builders, or home builders getting a deposit from a home buyer. And that could occur prior to a permit being issued. In other words, these sales could be sales of dirt lots, in which the builder is going to build a house in 6 to 12 months from now, or it could be sales of houses under construction or sales of completed houses as well. So again, more acting like a pending home sale. This could be a sale that could be closed home sale in about 1 year, depending on when the contract is signed between the builder and the home buyer. All right, so check this out because this is pretty wild. Let's talk about sales, and then we'll talk about inventory and then home prices. So sales, these numbers, by the way, are seasonally adjusted and also annualized as well. So for March, we came at 693,000 brand new single family houses that sold, again, more like a pending home sale. That was more than the street's forecast of 668,000. This is also much higher compared to February's reading at 637, a gain of 8.8% from February, and a gain of 8.3% from 12 months ago. Also at 693,000, this is the fastest sales pace since September last year. All right, let's have a look at a chart looking at sales over the past 5 years. So the levels we have right now is more or less on par with pre-COVID levels because back then, back in early 2020 and late 2019, there's approximately 700,000 each month. But at 693,000 this March, this is still way below the peak that was set back in August of 2020, when at that time there was just over 1 million home sales. Going back to this report, these stats also vary quite a bit depending on the region. So the Census Bureau looks at the Northeast, the Midwest, the South, and the West. So on a month-to-month basis, sales absolutely skyrocketed, up by nearly 28% in the Northeast, whereas the Midwest only increased by 5.3%. But all 4 major regions posted a gain. Different compared to a year ago, though, because in the Northeast, they fell by 13%, whereas the Midwest surged by 23%, and the West increased by nearly 19%. All right, that's home sales. Let's talk about inventory levels of brand new single family houses. So for March, this is seasonally adjusted, but it's not annualized. So there's approximately 477,000 homes for sale. Again, that could be a dirt lot, house under construction, or a completed house. So at 477,000, that's the highest levels going back to February 2008. Also an increase of 2.6% compared to February and a 10.2% gain from 12 months ago. Let's take a look at our good Uncle Fred. So 477,000 surpassed the peak, which was back in October of 2022. But right now we're way above the amount of houses for sale compared to pre-COVID levels. So for example, back in, let's just look at March 2019, there was only 337,000. Now there's a whopping 477,000. Also zooming out, going back to the early 1960s at 477,000 right now, which is right there. This is the highest levels going back to February of 2008, which is right there. So inventory increasing from 1 month ago and of course from 12 months ago. But again, the highest levels going back to 2008. So again, inventory overall very, very high regarding brand new houses. Let's also take a look at the month supply as well. So for the month of March, we're at 8.3 months. This is less than the peak more or less back in July 2020, or I should say the peak over the past 5 years, when at that time the month supply was at 10.1 months. Also at 8.3 months right now, this is much higher compared to pre-COVID levels because in 2019 through early 2020, the month supply was around 5.5 months. Also looking at this chart from the US Census Bureau, at 8.3 months, for comparison's sake, the all-time record high was at 12.2 months set back in January of 2009. And the record low was 3.3 months that was set back in August of 2021. So overall, at 8.3 months, this is still historically high because a more normal range is in the range of 4 to 6 months and not 8.3 months. They also provided the number of houses for sale by stage of construction. Not yet started, in other words, a dirt lot, a house under construction, and also completed houses as well. And again, I've been tracking the number of completed houses for sale for quite some time. And again, this is a friendly reminder. This is a key indication regarding our builders selling their houses, or is there some red flags ahead? And I'll touch on that here a little bit. So again, for the month of March, we're at 477,000, the highest level since February of 2008. The vast majority of houses for sale are houses under construction. 282,000 out of the 477,000. So the number of houses for sale that are under construction right now is also at least a 12-month high as well. But again, what I'm more focused on is this right here. Houses that are completed, in other words, the builder can sell it and the buyer can move in right away once the house is theirs. So the figures for March is at 89,000, which is much higher compared to 12 months ago at 70,000. That represents a 27% increase over the past 12 months. On top of that, at 89,000, this is nearly triple the amount compared to the all-time record lows that was set back in 2021, where at that time there was around 32,000 completed houses for sale. Also, by my dumb analysis or my dumb math, at 89,000, this is the highest levels going back to March of 2010. Don't take my word for it. Here's our good Uncle Fred. So the highest levels we've had going back to March of 2010, where at that time we had 90,000 completed houses for sale. Now we have 89,000. This is also way higher compared to pre-COVID levels when we had around 75,000. But also the run-up ever since the lows back in 2021, as well as 2022 has been quite remarkable, nearly tripling ever since February of 2022. Additionally, something you guys should be aware of as well is that we still have far fewer completed houses for sale compared to the peak, which was set back in 2007, Well, at that time, there's 194,000 completed houses for sale. Now there's only 89,000. All right, let's change gears here and talk about the median sold price this March and how that compares to years past. So in March, the median sold price based on contracts being signed was at $430,700. That is a decrease compared to 1 year ago, because a year ago, we're at just under 439,000. In fact, by my dumb math, that's a decrease of 2% compared to a year ago. However, at 430,700, that is a 6-month high, which is pretty wild though, because in my video I posted 1 month ago for February, when prices decreased to $406,500, that was nearly a 3-year low. So in a span of just 2 months here, we went from a 3-year low to a 6-month high. And I highlighted the sales figures here each and every month that had big swings, right? So when was this? In June of 2023, we went from around 418,000 to just under 436,000. Then it increased to 440,000, then decreased once again to 426. And you can see the trends going like this. So in my personal opinion, the median sales price is impacted by the mix in sales, but also, frankly, because there's not nearly as many houses that sell in new home construction compared to existing houses. So not seasonally adjusted and also not annualized, there's only 67,000 brand new single-family houses that sold for the month of March. When you're looking at the resale market, there's over 200,000. It's normally around 300,000 existing houses that sell each and every month. I should clarify, there is around 300 to 350,000 existing houses that sell each and every month, where again, for brand new home construction, only 67,000 this March. And again, I mention this because the levels of home sales, because they're still relatively low, can have wild fluctuations in home sold prices each and every month. In any case, let's have a look at our good Uncle Fred. So this March at nearly 431,000 is still less than the peak back in October of 2022. At that time, we're at 497,000. So this is quite a bit different compared to 1 month ago, back in February, because February this year compared to October of 2022, we were down by 19%. Now, because prices increased this March, we're only down by 13% from the record highs of October last year. Also, check this out, because back in March of 2019, we were only at $310,600. This means that home prices over the past 5 years have increased a whopping 39%. I was trying to figure out why home prices overall increased compared to 1 month ago, and it's not due to a change in the mix of sales, for example. So for houses that sold for over $750,000 this March, that was 14% of all home sales. 1 year ago, we were at 11%. But for all these price segments here, virtually unchanged, very little differences. So the mix in sales more or less on par with 1 year ago. If we were to see a big increase of the number of houses that sold for over 750,000, for example, of course, that would likely impact the overall median sold price. In other words, it would inflate it. Or if we saw a lot more home sales in the more affordable range, that would decrease potentially the overall home price as well. However, when looking at these sales for each of these price segments, not a lot changes compared to March of 2023, as well as February this year as well. In my personal opinion, the reason why we're seeing an increase in home prices overall for brand new home construction is because a lot of builders are still offering incentives to home buyers. So for example, when rates increase to over 7%, a lot of home buyers decide not to buy houses because rates and home prices have increased greatly over the past several years. And that makes housing affordability very unaffordable. However, what builders can do is they can offer builder incentives, such as a free builder upgrades, or they can offer a closing cost credit. In other words, giving you $10,000 to $15,000 as a closing cost credit in which your out-of-pocket expenses in buying a brand new house decreases by that amount. But on top of that, they can also offer a lower rate for your mortgage. So for example, back in this month, I should say in April, the average 30-year fix for people with great credit has been in the range of 7 to 7.5%. However, builders can offer a rate much less than that, which entices more home buyers to buy a brand new house compared to an existing house. So in my personal opinion, due to these upgrades that builders are offering home buyers, that is impacting home prices overall for brand new home construction. You can see this in the data as well from the National Association of Home Builders. For the month of March, 24% of builders reported cutting home prices. That's down from 36% in December 2023. And also at 24% right now, that's the lowest share since July of 2023. So again, home builders overall have not been decreasing home prices, especially compared to December. And on top of that, they're offering more incentives. It says here, the share of builders offering some form of incentive in March was at 60%. This has remained between 58 to 62% since last September. But I would love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about today's video? The highest levels of houses for sale or of brand new home construction since February of 2008, yet prices increased compared to 1 month ago. And also home sales also rose from February and also from March of 2023. In my personal opinion, what we really should be focusing on is the level of completed houses for sale. Because again, that has nearly tripled from the all-time record lows that was set back in 2021 and 2022. Anyways, I hope you guys appreciate today's video. A lot of research went today making today's video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Have an awesome day.